All right, you asked for it, you wanted it. Let's hear more about my favorite country besides the United States, the Netherlands. Last week we talked about the smaller towns along the Netherlands and the beautiful gardens of Keukenhof. Today, I want to talk about one of the major cities of the Netherlands, and that, of course, is, we all know it, or at least we've heard of it, Amsterdam. Let me start off right away with this podcast, rip off the Band-Aid, and talk about the elephant in the room. We are all aware of the liberties that you can take while you are visiting the Netherlands, especially Amsterdam. For instance, there's the red light district, so prostitution is legal. And of course, you can get actual marijuana, not medical marijuana. It's recreational, and you can smoke it in one of the smoke shops while you're there. But let me make sure you understand something. First of all, if you're going to visit these countries simply to be part of these decadent areas, go for it. Let's just not be those Americans while we're over there, if you could avoid it. The women who are part of the red light district are protected. They have to go through rigorous testing, and this is their job. So be respectful, just like you would want somebody to be respectful in your job. Just because you think that their job is lower than what you would do does not mean that it actually is, and these are hardworking women. Additionally, when it comes to marijuana, you cannot just stroll around the town smoking your marijuana. You should not be an obnoxious person trying to barter or be rude to the bud tenders, as you may call them in the United States. And just make sure that when you go there, you're being respectful and have a good time. Buy what you want. You have to smoke it inside the establishment there or bring it back to your house. And be aware, especially if you rented an Airbnb or if you're in a hotel, there is no smoking in those establishments. Find a place where you are legally able to smoke. Do a bit of your research. And now that Band-Aid has been ripped off, let's talk about all the great places to go throughout Amsterdam. The first time that we went there, we stayed at a beautiful little hotel called the Hotel Nadia, which was right downtown, very close to the Anne Frank House. I highly recommend that you stay and you visit the Anne Frank House, if for nothing more than to understand that period of history and the horrors associated with the Holocaust and World War II. The Anne Frank House, you can walk by it as well, but I encourage you to go inside while it is open and go through the tour. It is very moving, and it is something that is going to really touch you and bring you into being a local in that area. Everyone visits the Anne Frank House. But right in that area as well is a lot to see. The canal system of Amsterdam cannot truly be explained. It is to such a precise level that the town has never flooded. They are able to put their canal system into place regardless of the storms, the tides, or water levels, and protect the residents of that area. It's magnificent. If for any period of time that you find yourself sitting in your hotel room, walk around Amsterdam, walk along the canals. In fact, go on a canal tour. I usually go on a canal tour every time that I'm in the Netherlands, especially in Amsterdam. I've been on probably 6 or 7 at this point, and all of them are a little different. Maybe you want to do one that's more involved in drinking. You can actually go to the Bowls, which is gin, the Bowls experience or the Heineken experience, and they will provide a ticket for an hour canal tour as part of the experience of touring and learning about how they make those forms of alcohol. I recommend you do that. I've done that. It's worth it. If you want something a little bit more specialized, you can find a charter in town that will bring on food, or maybe it actually has a tour guide that's part of it. Maybe it stops along a different part of the canal system. You don't have to be right along the traditional Amstel River that cuts through the town. Speaking of the Amstel River, one of the next places that we stayed while we were in Amsterdam was the marvelous Amstel Amsterdam, which is an intercontinental hotel. It was absolutely marvelous, 100% worth the splurge. They have a beautiful spa pool area that is right at ground level along the river. And so it feels like you are in the waters, in the canal, but you are just relaxing in a beautiful crystal clear pool. That hotel was really great too, because we stayed in one of the best sections of the hotel, and it was absolutely marvelous. All right. The area of Amsterdam is well known for its art, and one of the things that you should visit is the Rijksmuseum or the Van Gogh Museum, or both. While we have never been able to successfully get into the Van Gogh Museum, and a lot of that is just because we've made it to the Rijksmuseum, I do highly recommend you go visit these museums when you can and cross them off your list. It's absolutely worth it to see and experience some of these original masterpieces. I recommend that you buy the tickets the day before, because they will sell out. And once they've sold out, the only thing you can do is stand in line. Why stand in line when you can buy the tickets ahead of time and then just show it to them when you walk up? That's my experience, and it seems to work every time. I rarely wait for those museums, or I don't go because I've missed the ticket opportunity. One of the other things that you should visit, if you're able to, is the National Maritime Museum, where you can see the replica of the ship Amsterdam. It has a fun story. I'll save it for when you're actually on board and you can hear it yourself. But it is a beautiful old-time tall ship. Absolutely gorgeous. You can walk along, have a good time, pretend that you're part of the sailing crew on board. It's an 18th century replica of this original Amsterdam ship. And it's a different part of the history of the Dutch. Least we forget, the Dutch and the Dutch East India companies and these larger companies are all contributed to the expansion of the Dutch and the Netherlands. The Netherlands were originally a large superpower. They still are. But in terms of exploration and finding the world, they are top for this, up there with Spain, up there with England, in being able to traverse the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and finding new places to explore and learn about. And the Dutch did this effortlessly. And seeing these types of ships, seeing the vessels that chartered them across the ocean is pretty epic, I would say. The other thing that I think that you should do while you visit Amsterdam in particular is try to stay in a different place each time. So the other places that we have stayed is an Airbnb. One of them actually happened to be a little bit further down away from the city center, and it allowed us the opportunity to stay with locals, so see a local dwelling, as well as walk to the downtown Amsterdam area and get our exercise in that way. I cannot stress enough how walkable the city of Amsterdam is. Make sure you walk it, spend some time, though make sure you watch out for bicyclists. As a pedestrian, you're a little bit higher than a vehicle in terms of the hierarchy, but you are nowhere near a bicyclist. Bicyclists rule the country. Look out for them. Do not just blindly step into the road. Do not blindly step into what you think is a sidewalk. Look at the pictures on the ground and make sure that you are walking the correct way and you are not about to impede a bicyclist. I like to joke, the only time I have seen an angry Dutch person was when I stepped in their way on a bicycle, and that bell was very angry. Other than that, you're going to have a wonderful time in the Netherlands. So be respectful, have a good time, and especially when you visit Amsterdam, get out there and explore. The Dutch love their city. You'll see them walking around in it. It's not uncommon. It's not one of those European cities where you don't see locals. So go out, have a good time, have fun, be respectful, and go adventure. Till next time.